Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network. I'm your host, Ric Davis. I want to thank you for tuning in this week. We had a great episode last week, and this week I expect to be even more exciting and even more informative. If you don't follow me on social media, I would like to invite you to do so. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. I want to urge everyone, for all your real estate needs, buying, selling, investments, please check out brooksanddavis.com. I repeat, you can check us out at brooksanddavis.com. Leave your information and we'll be in contact with you as soon as possible. Once again, it's a great episode we have planned today. I have a very special co-host. I'm always excited when this gentleman is able to sit in the captain's chair and host along with me on the Prime Real Estate Network. You've seen him before as a guest on our show. He's very, very well received when he's been a co-host on our show. But I want to congratulate him because co-hosting with me today is the Houston Association of Realtors 20 Under 40 Rising Star Award winner. Not only is he an award winner, but he's also a real estate broker. And he is also a great real estate podcast co-host. So I want to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience my co-host, Mr. Michael G. Davis.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in the seat. What's going on, Rick? Appreciate you,
Hey, man.
man.
Congratulations, man. I heard you won an award not too long ago. So,
Yeah, I
as
did.
usual, high achievers achieve, man.
Come on, man. I want to give a shout out to the Houston Association of Realtors Young Professionals Network for awarding me and choosing me out of the thousands or hundreds of applicants. Me and my team was there at the event, and we had a great time, excellent time, and we're excited about it.
Oh, man. When I heard about it, I wasn't surprised. And I was just thinking, I was like, this award can be given to a more deserving individual.
Appreciate
so I would
that,
like
Rick.
to congratulate you again. And as always, I know your schedule is super busy, so thanks for carving out a little time to co-host with me this week. This episode is an episode that is a little bit of time in the making. We had to coordinate with this gentleman's schedule because when you're an entrepreneur, business owner, sometimes carving out time to be for an informative show like this can be quite an undertaking. But I want to thank our guest today. Our guest today is Mr. Darrel Borden. He serves as an independent consultant with Ambit Energy, and he's also with Partners in Power. So for the Prime Real Estate Network podcast audience, I would like to thank him publicly, and I would like to introduce everyone to our guest, Mr. Darrel W. Borden. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for stopping by today, sir. It's funny that we had the opportunity to get you in this week with Mr. Davis being our co-host, because a lot of the things that me and Michael do when we're not online, when we're discussing business and real estate, is just talking about emerging markets. And the thing about emerging markets that always interests me and Michael both is that there are very few times as a business professional where you get an opportunity to engage in a newly emerging market kind of at the starting gate.
Right.
A lot of times these markets are already mature, the power brokers have already entrenched themselves. But when Larry, myself, Michael, we were discussing about potential guests, energy, the deregulation has opened that market up for new entrepreneurs, new business people. And I just wanted you, if you could take a little time to talk about your business, where it is that you get involved in the energy process, and how people who may just heard about this for the first time can get involved.
Yes, surely. In Texas, energy electric deregulation occurred in 2002, and Ambit Energy started in 2006. And so it's resulted in a lot of competition for electric rates,
Oh, wow.
and so there's a lot of marketing. There's value to be had in deregulation for the consumer. You also have to watch for, in advertising with anything, what's accurate, what's not, what's transparent. So since deregulation, companies advertise, well, there's three parts of an electric bill. Everybody pays taxes, everybody pays the electric part, and everybody pays the TDS, the transmission distribution charges. And so it's important to know what you're looking at. There's a rate called the average rate. Very few people know what they pay for a kilowatt hour, and even fewer know what their average rate is. And that's also called the all-in. So it helps to have a consultant. Part of how I see my role is as an advocate. I'm an advocate for my customers. I've been an advocate for other Ambit customers that weren't, quote, mine. And the way that works, I have a connection to the corporate office. I can call in and talk to one of our support people. So, for instance, I came home one Friday at 6 o'clock. There was a couple without power, had been for non-payment, and they were told they couldn't get power back on till Monday, Tuesday, and this was summer before last, 100 degrees outside, very, very hot. And after I made a call and talked to them, they were able to resolve the debt, and we had their power back on in about an hour and a half.
Wow.
So, because the wife was home crying and the husband was beside himself. So, and I have other stories. We're limited on time here.
Oh, and I have a question, and just
Sure.
because you were talking about how you were able to get that issue resolved for that particular client. From a dollars and cents standpoint, when you sit down with your customers and you illustrate the benefits of working with you, how much, and I know you can't be exact, but would you estimate that Texas residents may be wasting by securing their energy services through the traditional means?
Ambit has very competitive rates, and there's about 5 reasons for that. One of which is we use direct sales.
Right.
And so it's multi-level marketing, but Ambit doesn't pay for a customer until they get a customer. And drawing a blank here, we have a patented billing system. It's the crown jewels of the industry. Most companies, most retail providers are happy if they can have a 60 or so % success factor in predicting how much electricity they will use, because anything they're committed to buying and they don't sell, they have to pay for it anyway. And Ambit has a success factor of about 90%, and that makes a big difference in our efficiency.
Now, it's interesting because I know you were speaking earlier about the fact that Ambit Energy has been in business since 2002.
6.
Oh, excuse me. And you've been involved for 9 years, correct?
Wow.
And that's the thing, and that's what makes your story so powerful. Could you illustrate for our audience how someone has been able to build their own enterprise and keep it flourishing and building and growing for 9 years consecutively? Because a lot of times with multi-level marketing companies, people always express the concern that the challenges will be insurmountable. So for someone like yourself to start something like this 9 years ago, to step out on faith, and to still here nearly a decade later, could you illustrate for our audience how some of the challenges and how you've had to persevere?
Well, when I first started with Ambit, I was invited to go look at a business presentation, and it was my cousin. I went and looked, and I saw something there. I went to several meetings to make sure it wasn't too good to be true. One of the things I'd learned is the definition of a successful man and a successful woman. A successful man is someone that makes more money than their wife can spend. And a successful woman was someone that could find a successful man for herself. And so Ambit has really changed that definition. A successful woman makes enough money more than she can spend. There's many stories to tell, but it's a great way. It's probably the best way, in my opinion, and many others, to change your life in this country, in the free market system. being an entrepreneur, you work on your own time. You can do it from home. We say you don't go out to work Ambit. You just work Ambit when you're out. You can make $500, $1,500 a month working 15 to 30 minutes a day. I know one woman that in 11 months, she retired from a six-figure income in nursing. And she did that 15 to 30 minutes a day.
Wow.
So and there's not a large barrier to entry. It's easy to get started, and you do with your life, what you make of it. Your life is what you make it. So it's a grand way to make a difference for people that have a dream, that want more than they already have, that they want to live their passions. This is a way to do that.
So what type of, I guess, business owners, what is the type, like, as far as, because I'm assuming 15 to 30 minutes a day is kind of more of a part-time option. So what are some of the occupations that people have that eventually partner with Ambit and do it in conjunction with their regular job?
Yeah, part-time would be 15, 30 minutes a day. Full-time becomes 5 or 6 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
But the occupations, I know attorneys, I know dentists, I know general business owners. The age range is probably anywhere from 22 to probably around 50, 55.
Okay.
I'd say the bulk of it, the heart of it, is people in their 30s and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Younger people that see it have changed their lives. I know some young people that will never have to, quote, work another day in their life. So it's ideal for an entrepreneur type.
Okay.
When I was a kid, my father talked about don't ever work for a nonprofit. It doesn't pay enough. And so he and my mother opened a grocery store. He had his day job in the grocery store, and it made for a good living in a small town. And I've taken that to heart.
Wow.
And I know as you go out, you introduce yourself, you talk to people about the benefits of your services, you talk to them how they can get involved. What are some of the concerns that younger people express to you when you try to open up this door to them? Because the thing is that someone like yourself that's been in the business for a decade, I'm working under the assumption that you've tried to open the door for hundreds of people.
More than hundreds.
Thousands
of people.
What is the true concern that you think people have that are afraid to step out and walk through the door and even educate themselves?
Well, people live in fear. We don't always call it fear. We don't tell ourselves we're afraid, but we're dubious. We have these concerns, these holdbacks. We want to see if it's going to work, and it helps to know if they know someone that it's worked for. That, well, if they can do it, I can do it. But so many times we think that what somebody else does we cannot do, or we might fail at it. People are afraid of failure, and so it's the people that do well at this that are not afraid of failure, but they just get out and give it a go. Until you try it, you don't know.
Exactly.
But it takes consistency. It takes persistence.
It's funny because one of the things that we haven't talked about, and I want to save it for after we come back from our first break, is what did you do professionally before getting into the energy field?
It's a good question.
Now, save that answer because if you would allow us to get into a little of your background when we come back and we talk about
Sure.
any mentors, inspirations, and what you did before Ambit.
You bet.
Thank you. I urge everyone to stay tuned. We're going to have a short break to hear from our sponsor. Stay tuned into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, and we'll be right back after this break.
Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network. I'm your host, Ric Davis. My co-host this week is Mr. Michael G. Davis of Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. Our guest this week is Mr. Darrel Borden of Partners in Power, and he also serves as independent consultant for Ambit Energy. We were discussing his business, how they serve the community, how their services could be of use to consumers. And now we want to discuss a little bit with Mr. Borden about his professional background and how he was able to evolve into entrepreneur and business owner. So thank you for spending some time with us this week, Darrel.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Before the break, we were discussing a little bit about your company, getting into the energy business. And you said that you would share with us a little bit about your professional background before Ambit Energy. So what were you doing before you decided to embark on your trail of entrepreneurship?
I had a career in property management, primarily apartments, but also commercial and commercial office buildings. And so the bulk of it being apartments over the years in Texas, Georgia, Florida, West Virginia. And it was a career I enjoyed, but then when I moved back to Houston in 2005, I started a company, part of my Partners in Power. It's a power wash cleaning service. Mm-hmm. And then Ambit came along, and Ambit is something that I could do on a longer term. It didn't require physical. It was it's not a strenuous job, and the property and the power washing is not that strenuous. I have helpers, associates, and we do properties on a regular basis, and so they're still in that there. But I currently serve on the Board of Trustees as president for Houston Gateway Academy. Oh. We're real proud there of our standing in the state on the STAR test results. We're number 14 in the state. Mm. And we have an elementary that's number 6 in the state.
Wow.
So there was the property management. Prior to that, I did a few entrepreneurial things in my younger days.
So you've always been the type of businessman to keep a few irons in the fire.
Sure.
Absolutely. As far as your upbringing and background, are you a native Texan, Houstonian?
I was born in New Mexico, and I got here as quick as I could.
We hear that a lot.
You hear that a lot.
Started the 3rd grade in Texas, small town, Brackettville, southwest Texas. Played varsity basketball and football. And I came to University of Houston when I graduated from high school, and graduated U of H, and then got an MBA at St. Mary's University in San Antonio. I've done things. I was a real estate-owned specialist, kind of a takeoff from the property management and a Texas real estate broker. But I worked for the FDIC in San Antonio.
And it's interesting. Though you went to U of H and St. Mary's, and it's funny because I know alumni from both schools. But when you were at U of H and you were studying undergrad, what were your professional goals at that time?
I was so impressed. I came from such a small school. Our whole school right now is like 538 students, K-12.
Oh, wow.
And so in my class, I was in the top quarter. I was number 4. It's like some people thought that was impressive till they knew how small it was. When I first got to U of H and I walked the campus, and it was I was a skinny kid, 17 years old, crew cut, haircut. And I'd walk around, and I was just so appreciative of the people that had gone before and built the infrastructure, that laid out the plans and created the university.
Right.
I just felt like it was such a godsend for people that had gone before.
And the reason why I asked the question is because there's going to be potentially current U of H students, current St. Mary's students that may see the podcast now, may download it on iTunes. And right. I want to urge everyone to subscribe to Prime Real Estate Network podcast on YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play. But if they were to see someone like yourself that's like, oh, we went to the same college. They may even be from your same town.
Right.
Could you share with us who from maybe your hometown or at U of H sparked your curiosity as far as entrepreneurship, becoming a business owner, and setting you on that path. Because something that I found hosting the show that I think has been invaluable is that everyone who sits in your seat, Mr. Borden, has a story of either a parent, an uncle, an aunt, or a grandfather who they saw building their own business.
Right.
And taking care of and supporting their family on the strength of the work that they put in to build a foundation of business for themselves. So when you go back, and I know we're asking you, Mr. Borden, this is your life, and I'm asking you to really,
Right.
but is there anyone who you can publicly credit for maybe being that initial spark for you?
I would have to go back to my father. And that was in, growing up in high school. When I got to U of H, I graduated. I had a job waiting for me as I went through graduation on Saturday, and had a job in Austin at an apartment property. And so I worked from being an assistant manager through, manager, regional property manager. I was a certified property manager. When I lived in Georgia, lived in Atlanta. In 2005, I was the president of the Institute of Real Estate Management chapter of Georgia. We had a little over 500 members. And I met a lot of other business leaders, a lot of people that owned property, a lot of people that made investments, and even on a small scale where someone would buy homes and rent them out and build a portfolio. That was where the entrepreneurship in real estate came in. And along the way, I moved back to Texas, and I wanted to do something that was entrepreneurial, that was something that I could do, and Ambit found me. And so
Amen.
it's a real blessing.
So you say, I hear a lot you were a Texas real estate broker and property management, and obviously that speaks to us in our heart because this is what we do now. What was it why did you transition out of that into something else?
Well, when I was in Atlanta and I was moving back, I moved back and sold new homes.
Okay.
And that was in 2005, and it was about the end of 2006, 2007, when the real estate residential market the bubble was popping.
Right.
And it was time to do something else because there was a regrouping there for a few years.
Gotcha.
Right. Makes sense. Absolutely. And it's funny because your story is so unique, but then it parallels so many other stories
Right.
of entrepreneurs and business leaders that we've encountered. And I want to urge all parents. That's why things like Bring Your Children to Work Day is so important. I think a lot of times as mentors, inspirations, and as a parent, you're that initial mentor for your children.
Right.
I think sometimes we minimalize the importance of showing children certain aspects of our professional and business lives.
Right.
Because it's funny, I met gentlemen when I was in college, Michael, who were freshmen, sophomore, 18, 19 years old, who didn't know how to properly tie a tie for themselves.
Right.
And it's funny because, when you're younger and you're more immature, you might be like, oh my gosh, how did you not tie a tie? You're almost 20 years old. But
Right.
when I would reflect back, I would think about the fact that I would see my father in the morning tying his tie before he went to work, and tying a knot in his ties, and he'd get mad because I made the knot too small.
Right.
But it's refreshing that someone like yourself, Mr. Borden, can reflect back to those times with their father and actually accredit it for putting you on a positive path to be able to adequately take care and maintain your own household and family.
Yeah, and I think that's real key. Being able to attribute that to your father, it just shows the importance, Rick, of fathers being in the lives of their children, right? I was that guy, Rick, that at 20 didn't know how to tie a tie, right? Because my dad, was kind of wasn't there, and I remember going to church, and we had to get one of the guys at the church to tie the tie for me. Like, it was
Right.
just one of those situations. So I get it. Like, even with my little daughter, she's 6. She comes up to the real estate office, and this was maybe last week, and she's like, "So, Dad, when we get to the office, you gonna teach me how to be a realtor?" Like, she said that, and
Right.
even if you're not being intentional about it, they're paying
they're picking
attention.
up.
They're looking.
It's
They're
that-
seeing.
And it's so positive. And that's why, Darrel, I want everyone who views this episode or hears the audible copy of this episode to be able to contact you directly and get involved in this burgeoning energy enterprise, especially here in Houston. So please share any contact information, email, or any way that someone who may view this episode can get in contact with you and get involved with Ambit Energy, please.
Well, my email address is Darrel Borden at earthlink.net, and that's spelled DarrelBorden. My phone number is 281-734-4444. And my website is www.nq, for never quit, .myambit.com. So that's nq.myambit.com. And those are the best ways to reach me. And I would love to hear from anyone. It's always, I'm free with the information, and I try to be as helpful as I might.
And once again, I thank you so much because the information that you're sharing is invaluable. Sometimes it's hard for me to reconcile how important information and getting positive, accurate information to the public is. So I thank you for carving out some time. I know this took some doing and you had to do some reshuffling, so thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
I want to thank everyone who's tuning in this week, but most importantly, I want to thank my co-host. A lot of times when you have a co-host, especially on a show like this, you look for someone that is going to add positive energy and bring a spark to the episode. And Mr. Michael G. Davis has done that for us again this week. So I want to thank you, Mr. Davis. And if there's anyone who would like to meet you or engage with you, or you're going to be out and about, is there any speaking engagements, networking mixers, or anything you want to share with the public before this episode is over?
So the biggest thing for us is, and really, Rick, before I get into that, let me give a shout out to my pop. Pop, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. You didn't teach me how to tie a tie. But anyway.
Oh my.
But the biggest thing for us at Brooks and Davis is that we're looking for individuals that are wanting to get into the business. We have some new tools that we're about to launch for our agents coming up here maybe in about a week or so. So if you are thinking about getting into real estate, to the point of you've just enrolled in one class, you haven't got a license or any of that, we have programs. We have our affiliate program that brings you in and gets you lined up with what we're doing at the office and with our organization. If you're already licensed and you're just not getting the results that you're looking to get, we have coaching. We're big on coaching and development, right? There's a difference between training and coaching. You need to reach out to us and find out what that difference is so you can see it with your own eyes. In the meantime, Rick, we want people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of content, a lot of videos, a lot of the trainings that I'm talking about can be seen on YouTube, and it's a great way to get connected with Brooks and Davis. Look, I know how people are. They like to date. They like to hang out and check you out before they make a commitment. So that YouTube channel is a great way to get an inside look at what Brooks and Davis is doing and see if it's a move that you will want to make in real estate.
I urge everyone to follow Mr. Michael G. Davis on Facebook, Instagram. Go to the YouTube channel for Brooks and Davis Real Estate because he provides priceless gems on that network that I think real estate professionals and consumers can both benefit from.
Absolutely.
Once again, I want to thank everyone for tuning into this week's episode of the Prime Real Estate Network. I urge everyone to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. That way you will always be alerted to all the new Prime Real Estate Network episodes as they're uploaded. If you like to listen to podcasts while you're driving or commuting in traffic, if you are an iPhone user, you can find the Prime Real Estate Network on iTunes. If you are an Android user, you can find the Prime Real Estate Network on Google Play. Please leave a 5-star rating and a favorable review because all favorable reviews are absolutely appreciated. So, as your host, I'm Ric Davis. Thanks you once again for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, and I'll see you all next week.
See you guys.
Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.